Fashion na udada na baridi in one sentence. He's always killing it. Welcome to the show.
Asante sana.
Unakaa vizuri sana.
Hallelujah. Yes, ni Bwana.
Tunashukuru.
Hallelujah. Baridi ndo mingi.
It's very cold.
Inanyesha baridi.
It's true. I agree.
But it's awesome.
It's awesome.
We thank God. Yeah.
So today we are focusing on the gentlemen. And leo tunafunzwa some of the basic things that men should know, should be aware of, should understand before saying I do. And even before we get into that conversation, my question to you this morning is, what does it mean when you say I do? You walk down that aisle na unaulizwa utamchukua, unasema I do. Anakuengage, anakuuliza will you marry me, unasema yes I will. What do those things mean? What does it mean when you say I do? Share your sentiments with us. 111 444 111. Now let's hear from the expert. Odada, kazi kwako.
Nashukuru. It's awesome to be here today.
Karibu.
Today we are talking matters marriage.
Yes.
We are talking matters commitment. I do. What viewers all over the world need to understand is marriage is a covenant.
Yes, it is.
And not a contract.
Hey, lakini kuna hizi prenup.
There's a big difference between a covenant and a contract. A contract has an exit clause.
Yes.
A marriage covenant does not. It is till death do us part. The Bible says, whatever God has put together, let no man put asunder. So if you're going to come into a marriage covenant, you need to be aware, first of all, what you're getting yourself into. And once you know what you're getting yourself into, as a gentleman or as a lady, you should plan appropriately. In the old days, they used to put salt. They used to call it a salt covenant, where you mix the two salt. In other words, once you mix the two salt, the only way we can break this covenant is you can pick the salt that you put in. So you need to be sober before you say I do. The first thing that I would like to say is you've heard the little say that they say marriage is 50-50. Let me say that is a lot of that's a lot of BS. It is not 50-50. Marriage, you don't give 50, you give 100%.
Yes.
So when you come in, before you say I do as a gentleman, don't expect your wife to be bringing 50 and you to be bringing 50. You make sure that you give 100 and your spouse give 100%, and that's how marriage works. Before you say I do, the number 2 thing that you're supposed to consider is live your life as a single person. I've heard people say single and lonely. No, single is that period that you discover yourself.
Yes.
Know your workforce, discover your kinks, the things that you like. Before you get to know somebody else, first of all, know yourself. So it's time for you to travel. It's time for you to explore. It's time for you to meet new friends. It's time for you to just go in down there and discover yourself. So this is one very important thing, that before you say I do, make sure that you have lived your life as a single person.
You know who you are.
Yes, you have exhausted being single.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Yes.
You have to be good friends. Good friends. Very important. Don't get married or get hitched to someone hoping that you will become compatible in the future, or as time in the sweet by and by. You get married to a total stranger and you hope that you will
tutajuana tu. Sasa tumekuja tutaishi pamoja. Tukipata watoi kwanza tutabond mbaya.
You dated online and you fell in love online because people were communicating, and now you're thinking, I don't really know him. I will get to know him in the sweet by and by. No, it doesn't work like that. Marry your friend. You have to be very good friend.
But
So
then that means we need to be very intentional during the dating period.
exactly. You go past dating to what we call courtship.
Yes.
Courtship is basically tushaamua. We engaged, we are doing this. So it has to start with what I say, a solid foundation of love and attraction. Jamaa anakuvutia, wewe unamvutia. And then now you fall in love or you grow in love. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. Then people don't like using the word
fall in love. Yeah.
So for those people who fall in love and for those people who grow in love,
okay.
you will definitely know, especially when you've been somebody for a long time. Solid foundation of love. Number 2 is shared value. When you're getting married to somebody, make sure that you share values, common interest, and trust. We can go in depth into this, but let me just leave them at that face value. Solid love foundation, shared value, common interest zenu ni same.
Yeah, it's important.
Very important.
Even the values, because sometimes you find people who've gotten married, and I've seen this, where you've gotten married, but even before getting married, you had not agreed on how to raise your children. You come from 2 different denominations, you believe in certain things, you believe in certain things. Probably we are all Christians, but the kind of Christian yangu, we atuvangi trouser, but we kwenye umetoka, it's okay to vaa trouser. So if we do not understand each other on such values, then it's going to be a problem.
Exactly. That's why I've said shared values. You need to have shared values. You need to have common interests. You need to have trust.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Number 4 is don't expect them to change. I mean, people do change, but don't expect them to change. It's funny. I've seen mostly women like this. I've met the man of my dreams, and then the second thing they say is, I will change him.
To what? But you've already met the man of your dream.
You've met the man of your dreams, and now you want to change them.
To become what?
People don't expect them to change, though people change, but not in predictable ways. If this gentleman or this lady has a drug problem, assume that they always have a drug problem. If they're having an alcohol problem, always assume they'll always have that alcohol problem. So before you get hit to them, ask yourself, am I comfortable to live with this problem? They usually say you'll never find a perfect person, but find someone that you can live. No, I mean, make this compromise before you go in. Usiseme he's a drug addict, I'll change him. No. Wewe muoe tukijua ni drug addict. Akichange, well and good. If he doesn't change, uliingia hapo ukijua. If he has a bad temper, assume he'll always have a bad temper. If he doesn't, the ladies who don't want to lose their waistline, if they don't want kids in the beginning, way from the start, they will always don't want kids. So don't try to get somebody inside a covenant so that you can go change them.
You become your own God. You want to create your own person.
Yes.
You know, sorry to cut you short, the perfect example for what you've just mentioned is a couple that came last week and yesterday as well on the show.
Yes.
And this lady was saved, right?
Yes.
And then met a gentleman who wasn't. And even the first place they went was a bar. Yeye alibebwa tu kama kirindi ya watu wanaenda huko. But then the guy liked, the chick liked. And she wanted a perfect wedding. But she got that 7 years of even moving in. She tried drinking with the guy, but she never left, not even once. She prayed and she asked God, you know what I want. Me, I love this man. I'm going to make this work. That gentleman today is an elder in church. You know what I mean? And it did not take a lot of convincing. It wasn't nagging. His time came and he became that person. So it wasn't upon the woman. It wasn't upon society. It was upon himself. So that is exactly what you're saying, that they will change in their own way, in their own time.
Yes. It's very important for you because this is just like also in a contract.
Yeah.
You need to know the deal. Like, what's up, y'all? Like, what's crack-a-lacking, you know?
What's cutting?
What's cutting?
Yeah.
So, covenant is higher than a contract. So, if you're going to get hitched to someone, make sure that whatever it is that they have, their baggage is, you're willing to carry. You're willing to go right ahead with it. Let's move on. Communication is very important. Communicate everything and anything. You know, you should be able to sit down honestly and have an honest discussion with your partner, especially topics like religion, politics, careers, in-laws, sex,
yes,
children, money. Yes. Don't get into a covenant, mimi nataka watu wa sita, and somebody is thinking ndampatia moja, and that's it. So if you don't sit down and communicate, there will always be a problem down the line. This is a time to sit down and talk to them about your fetish. If there's a crime that you committed in the past, if there's a friend that you betrayed, you know, so that when they come into open, there will not be a cause of destroying the relationship. You know, people usually say that I woke up and he was a total stranger. You see, many, let me say, many conflicts in a marriage can be solved by communication. This is one thing you people should sit down and make sure that you don't have a past that is still hidden and not known. So just in case it shows up, nilikuwa nimekushow. See ati you came in, I did not know. Uko na watoi wengine umeficha huko ushago. Alafu now you get married and then now unawatoa. It's basically...
It is very unfair.
Yes. It's like trapping the gentleman.
Exactly.
Yes. Or trapping the lady. So make sure that everything has been put to light so that you have a honesty foundation. So that moving forward, there is nothing hidden.
Absolutely. And if you start conversing and communicating as openly as what you've just said on all those topics before, then that means the conversation, the communication will be seamless, because we've already tackled maybe difficult things before. So hakuna kitu ngumu inaweza tushinda kuongea. And if you can talk it, then you can, you know, it's half solved.
Exactly. Collaboration, very important. You need to collaborate, work as a team. I remember the last time I told you need to pray and plan. And then you need to plow. Plow and plan, pray and play. Collaboration basically means that both of you get in together. Look for things that you can do together. I usually say start by sharing a game. Me and my wife, we love playing Scrabble, Monopoly, you know, chess. But apart from those ones, those are intellectual games, and they're not social glue. The kind of play I'm talking about is those tickle games, you know, chasing yourself around in the house and all that. They bring what we call social glue. It's very important for you to create this, have as much fun together, because social group we're talking about on friendship level, it's just it's bring some what do I call it, some cement for you to be able to solve conflicts. There's some conflicts you'll solve by just cracking jokes and playing together.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we are going to continue with this conversation after this break. But what does I do mean to you? Is it as heavy as we're talking about? Have you ever thought about it like that? Have you said I do before and you're rethinking that? Or you're in this marriage wondering why you said I do in the first place? 111 send in all of your questions because Mr. Odada Okello is in the building to answer all of them. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Full Circle with Mikali. A very good morning to you. We are talking matters, love, commitment. Before you walk down the aisle, before you say I do in front of God and man, kama ni pale kwa serikali, whatever it is, what does that mean to you? What does saying I do mean to you? So we're looking at some of the basic things that tunafaa kujua kabla ya kusema I do. Hi.
Awesome. When you before you say I do, don't go there with the mentality of quits. Never say quits.
Oh, quit. Okay.
I've heard of couples of you're coming with the mindset of akinifanyia hii mimi naishia.
If it doesn't work out, nafikiri nimepandwa.
Yeah,
Mimi nilifukuzwa kwetu.
Never say die. Don't even mention it. Like if this and this that is set into place, I will walk out. Always go with that single-mindedness that I'm in this thing to stay. We will make it work. Okay. If there is a conflict, we will solve it together. You have to see problems as our problem, not your partner's problem. Yes. Because as long as you see it as our problem, you will be able to solve it. But ukianza kusema shida ni yake ama ni yangu, you will never solve it. So anytime before you say I do or get into this covenant, you need to know that even your language and the communication need to change. Okay. You speak as us, not me, nor I. You talk as a unit. So if you mess up, I will come out of this relationship. Ukinikosea nitatoka. This is the last time I'm going to be out. Don't even mention it, because if you mention it, eventually you're going to fall out. The another thing is get your priorities in order. Get your priorities right. Because especially gentlemen, if you used to hang out with the boys club for 6 nights in a week, 6 days in a row, and if you're a lady who hang up with your girls every other weekend, before you say I do, you need to know that now some of these things are going to actually change. So you need to communicate this kind of things. I usually do this every Friday with the boys, and also I need to do this with the girls. But when you come to a relationship, some of these things are going to change, because now you have to hang out with the kids and you have to hang up together. So that's what I was saying, common interest. Now get things that you can both do, and then mkacheze golf pamoja. If the boys are playing golf, you're there, because
hata mimi najua kucheza.
Si ati mimi napendaga ball na unapenda hockey. Already there's conflict. Another thing is have the same vision per se. It's very important to have vision, because without the same vision, what we have is division. And division is basically die and vision. Die basically means two vision. Immediately everybody has a vision of their own that marriage can't work. You want to go live in the States and the other one wants to sell maka hapa Kenya. You feel like Kenya iwezi, mwingine anakuambia hapa Kenya ndio inaweza. Already when you have two visions, that thing will not work. And then I've said people do not change character-wise, but people do change. You have to understand that circumstances and things, giving birth physically, people might change. if you married her and she was that voluptuous, 32, 36, 24, 36, she will probably end up 48, 38, 48, whatever it is. But you are not supposed to base your relationship on what you married. You might fit in a size 12, but 6 years down the line, she'll be a size 22 because she's given birth. You are supposed to go beyond. You have to have the mind that this person, in the future, in case of accident or anything, their physical appearance might change, but their covenant need to remain intact.
Absolutely. And sometimes you just focus on the weight, and it could be anything. It could be people have gone blind. People have gotten into accidents that have left them scarred.
Exactly.
That if you didn't have something more than that, more than the physical bit of it, then you will have nothing to hold that marriage together.
Exactly.
So deep conversations need to happen before. Are you ready for some questions?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's have.
Hello, Mwikali. I am Melody from Utawala. I have a question. I fell in love with a certain man, and I was so much into him, and each and every time I used to see him, I was like, if he approaches me, hey, I will definitely accept on the spot. And so God answered my prayers, and he approached me, and I accepted on the spot. Is there a problem with that?
You know, sometimes I usually say being spontaneous is nice, but accepting on the spot, there's nothing wrong. Just depend on how you approached. You know, sometimes it's usually I will take my time, depending on if you don't know the person. There's this guy who have just showed up and they're showing interest. So that's the time you actually go and Google them and blah, blah, blah. So that's the time you're basically saying, give me some time to think about it. But a jamaa you have put your tabs on, you're just waiting.
Amekuwa kichekiwa mbaya.
Umekuwa ukiwait. In other words, in that waiting, you're already doing your due diligence. Unajua, he works at
a certain place.
Najua anafanya job Carnivore. I know he drive this car. I know his friends. You know, so you've been studying this gentleman, and to you, everything is right, correct, in place. So when the gentleman said, what's up, and you said I do, I mean, that's when you start dating. Dating is knowing each other. Basically is the friendship level where you create that friendship. And after you've created the friendship, you don't have to immediately, you can actually date and don't marry.
That's true.
Because dating is basically, I'm getting to know you, you're getting to know me. But after dating, the jama usually goes down on his one knee and say, will you marry me? Immediately they propose, you go into courtship. Now courtship is fiancé.
Very intentional.
This is my fear. So in courtship now, you know the nitty gritty. You know, Tuco-compatible.
Yeah.
You know, you start knowing.
That's where you find out about the values you were talking about.
Exactly.
Because when you're dating, you won't go there telling everybody how much you earn, how you intend your future to look like. You're just dating. But when you become very serious, and you're now courting, then you talk about the deep things that you were talking about.
You talk about even finances.
Yes.
You need to have financial stability, and you have to be sound in your finances. So this is actually done during courtship, because now you have decided we're staying together. You're not doing friendship, you know. Unajua gani kabdosi you lipaga bill zote, lakini in courtship una how much.
Yes. Ndio uje kama ana overspend huku nje kama tunaweza team.
Exactly.
Kuna SMS ingine. Mtu anasema men are transactional.
Yes.
It is only a woman who marries for love. Hala. Sijui sasa kazi kwako.
That's not true.
Only a woman. Acha jina ama lolote. Only a woman marries for love.
You
guys are transactional. Nipe nikupe.
Not quite true. we spoke this during the needs of a gentleman
Yes.
in a relationship
Yes.
and the needs of a woman in a relationship. And we say the first need for a man
is respect.
Niliandika
no sio siku. Yes.
And then we say the second need for a gentleman is information.
Yes.
And then the third need for a jama is food. And then the fourth need for a jama is sex.
Yes.
So sex is way for. In other words, if you don't respect a man, don't give him sex. In other words, that sex is going to be kutumiwa. In other words, a man, when you tell a man, I love you, what secret you want you to decode is, I respect you. When you say, that's how a man wants to be loved. If you respect a man, he will interpret, this woman loves me. Okay. But when we went to the other side, I said the needs of a lady, we said number one.
Love.
Exactly.
Number two, love.
Number three,
love.
And we broke it last week. I mean, and they just go on YouTube, you'll find we talked about the conversation about a woman interprets being listened to. Yes. Conversation. You know, these are the things that when you show a woman that you're listening to her, that you understand her, that you're hearing her, she now interprets that. So we all are in love. When we started, before we said I do this, I said the first thing is solid love foundation. Yes. The only thing is we interpret it differently. So as a gentleman, know that your woman wants an empathetic ear. Yes. You need a participatory kind of talk. Unajua, hata kama nasema nonsense, we flow tu na bonga na allow her to express herself. Yes. Understand her. So for a jamaa on the other side, vile amekwambia kama hiyo ndo transaction, mrespect. Mpatie information. Yeah. Gas imeisha na ningiri tatu. Bas. Akisha kuwa na information, because his head is wired to solve problems, he will sit and say the next kuna donjora nafaa kunipatia itaenda kwa gas. Lakini ukuje mwambush tu na gas imeisha na ukumpatia information, ama unaambia kwani nyumba naishi peke yangu, kwani hiyo jikoni ukuingia
jikoni kama gas imeisha,
kwani hiyo chakula imechemka.
First of all uingie upate chakula.
Exactly.
Na ukuambiwa
unajua ukuacha do ulikuwa na expect na chata mbili na diapers zilikuwa zinanunuliwa na those kind of things that just tell him pesa imeisha and give out information.
God, are we that bad? Like the way you guys like imitate us. Wow. This is kama tunaongeanga hivyo. We're going to say hi Wikali. I'm Juliet from Nyeri. I met this guy on Facebook and we exchanged our numbers. It's a month now. I have feelings for this guy and him too. We communicate through video call or phone calls. Does social media love work?
Wow, ya Mungu ni mengi. I've seen people who have met in social media.
Yes.
And it has worked for them.
Yep.
So we cannot completely say it doesn't work. There is something in Facebook that is called mutual friends. The only danger with the social media is you get to meet people that you don't know if they're sadists, they're psychos, you don't know if they're rapists, they're murderers, and it's like meeting someone in the club or dance floor. You don't know them, you don't know their values, and those are the kind of things that when we spoke about how do we know that that he loves me, you see, we spoke about the 3 H's, your head, your heart. Your heart can actually overtake your head. When you meet somebody in social media, they look good. They only post their nice pictures.
Image filter.
And now most of the social media life that you see on stuff you see on social media, they're fake. Yes. See kama Timo najua anaishigi across the door kwa kina nani najua sister yake. So people, when you meet people on Facebook, you usually go see their mutual friends, and you've heard people say, call so and so, how do you know that guy, we grew up with him? So it's like it can bring you together, but after that, make sure you date, make sure you do your due diligence. Yes. Find out if they're fake, find out if the thing, the people who can't take a matatu because kwa social media na magari, unajua, living fake life completely 100%. I mean, find out whatever it is that they're posting is a reflection of who they are in the ground. You know, not Lilian, Bragadocious, sijui, Butilicious, sijui. It's the fake, whatever. With the Brenda, sijui, Lungula. Those are nonsense. Find people who call themselves with their real name on social media. If you go to my social media, you'll find Odada Okello.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
it's what you see. But many people, the cutest, finest, I don't know. Yeah, protect yourself.
Protect yourself, because there's a lot of catfishing that goes on as well. They put picture wamechukua ya Brad Pitt, wameweka hapo na wakadownload picture zote za Brad Pitt. So uko ukiona we kumbe the time you meet this guy, he's totally different.
Kwa gari ya jirani, kwa nyumba ya beste, and you think they are, and you fall in love with person you met on Facebook until now they tell you, kuna dema niliambia alipeleko kwa shimbo, hakuwa naamini. The guy did not even have food in his house. He had only a mattress. But the whatever that is portrayed on social media, you follow. Don't fall in love in social media. I am old school. Old school. Let that somebody that is interested in you have somebody that is in the middle.
Yes.
I believe in those old engagements.
The chaperones.
Yeah, huyo ni mtoto wa kina nani. Childhood engagements. You know, we know the family.
Yes.
So even dating. Always have somebody ni rafiki ya Mikali. Mikali anamjua poa. Sit down, Mikali akwambie mambo yote before you fall in love, because once your heart has been joined together, kutoaga ni ngoma. So just mambo masoul ties na hizo vitu zingine.
Lakini unatuelimishanga. Shiro hapa anasema, lately my boyfriend has cut all communication. I'm the only one calling or starting a conversation. We've already met our parents. He says he still loves me. I'm confused because sijui kama ana force issues ama I'm overthinking.
Ana rethink maze.
Wacha ana rethink.
Wacha ana rethink.
Ya washaenda kuna wazazi. Okay, sorry. It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
I told you, for a woman it is important. A woman will not introduce you to their family, to their brothers, to the people who are close to them if they're not serious. A jamaa will do it to get into your pants. Atakuja baka one wazazi wenyu.
Ulisema.
Atakuja baka one wazazi wako na kaya hapo ni kama ako serious. Na pia sasa umeshaingizwa box na huyu baka atakuskip the next minute. Na ndekuta sikia alikuwa rurasho mali ingine.
Check, you have a conversation with this jamaa. You need to be very open.
If he's
kama
not
na rethink asikucheze.
I've told you, men are very intentional and very deliberate when it comes to dating. And when a man loves you, a woman will know.
Yes.
There are men that loves you and you don't love them. You can actually find out every day in the morning when you open your mail, yenda ako hapo. Ule unapenda yuko hapo. But huyu jamaa, huyo sasa ndo anakupenda.
Alikiba limba.
Exactly. You if you don't see them in your mail, you see them, you keep on bumping into them and you're thinking, Connie, no, the jamaa, he's pursuing, he's chasing, he's not losing sight. But this jamaa who's now communication amekata, ana communicate na mwingine.
Swali ya mwisho.
Even ako online. He stopped communicating to me. Ako online na communicate na nani.
Oh God. Final question. I think we have about a minute to go.
Okay.
Good morning. Nice topic. How do you handle the situation when the husband mostly focuses on the vision that they end up forgetting their responsibility as comfortable and only focus? Responsibility is comfortable and only focus on catering for bills and forget you have a life after money. The worst thing, I left my work to be a full-time mom and I feel so lonely. Try talking to him but feels like I understand. Please help. So gentleman is providing everything, pays the bill, the rent, but kuna needs fulani.
That gentleman lacks wisdom. That woman did not marry your money. He married you. As much as you're paying the bills, be her best friend. Be there.
Yes.
That's. I think it's in our African society. Sinimelipa stima, sinilipe maji, umekula umeshailala njaa. They behave like they're your parents. No, you married a partner, companion. She is your helpmeet. So she's supposed to be helping you with everything that you go that you're doing together. So that lady, that Jama, probably.
But what can the lady do?
The lady need to sit down and have this conversation with him. Say, I don't need your money. It's you that I want. Yeah. If I can have your heart and have you, I will access your money.
Watu wakutoe wapi? Wanakupata wapi?
My number is 0722441511. 0722441511. Social media, Odada Okelo, Instagram, Facebook, The Marriage Counselor 254.
Hapo ndo upo.
Hapo ndo tuko.
Asante sana kwa kuja Odada. Always lovely having you in studio every single Wednesday. We are taking a very short commercial break. We will be right back. Don't go too far.
Leo tumemalizishwa na hiyo ngoma. Hiyo ni kutuambia